So in one of the calls you mentioned that hey, the subsidy culture is there, we all know of it, and we should promote more of it.
Hmm.
uh, you gave a what about argument where you talked about, hey, European countries are doing it, why don't we also do it? Nobody says anything to the European countries. Why in India
When
we,
did I say this?
I think you said in one of the live streams.
I
Yes,
have
you
never
did.
just, I have given examples of European countries many times, but I don't think I've said that we should give subsidies because Europe does so.
No,
That has
what
never
you
been the
said,
argument.
no, what you said is the what aboutry in that argument is, hey,
Hmm.
European countries do it, nobody questions them. When India does it, there is a lot of this thing that, hey, why?
Was that the entirety of my argument? Because I
No,
think what I may
not
have done
really,
is that,
not really.
yeah.
But
So
I will come to your
I
main
think you're kind
argument.
of going for the low hanging fruit there. I think
Yeah,
what my argument was about subsidy is that India is not a rich country. A lot of people do need help. The government exists to help people, and therefore there is nothing wrong with helping people. And then I might have said, I don't see people raising a stink about this happening in Europe. I never said that we
yeah.
should do it because Europe does. I added that as an additional point. So that was not the
Okay,
argument. That was
okay. So
one of the things I just.
now let me come
Hmm,
to my main point, right? So
hmm,
why I think India should not do more of subsidy culture. I'll
hmm.
come to that. And so, by the way, like first out straight, right? I would say that health and education.
Hmm.
I'm moving it out of my purview of subsidy. I say
Okay,
that health and education should be free and accessible to everybody. So that's point
great.
number one. Okay.
Hmm,
So when I say about subsidies,
hmm,
what I talk about is that electricity free kar diya, XYZ kar diya, and all of that.
hmm.
So I so there is, it pays more burden on certain section of taxpayers, which is very low number. By the way, everybody pays tax in India.
Yeah.
I don't think that, hey, if I just pay income tax, I'm like somewhat better or supreme than anybody,
Hmm,
because other taxes everybody pays it. Okay.
hmm,
But uh, that particular section, right, of taxpayers who are paying the income tax and who are into the high bracket of income tax, right,
hmm.
they end up draining a lot of money in taxes. Their taxes could go up to high to 35%, 40% or something like that.
Do
And
you think that the rich should pay more taxes?
I think the rich should pay more taxes, but
Hmm.
I also feel that rich should have, so there are three sections, right? You have the the lower class, the middle class, and the rich class, right? So
Hmm.
the tax system, how it works in India is that you go beyond, let's say, 10 lakhs or something, you are considered rich. Hey,
Okay.
pay 30% now. Okay.
Hmm.
From now 30-35% or whatever, right? So my point is that that particular section, it does not get anything in return, so they can't put their kids to government school. A pathetic situation is there,
Which group are
they
you
can't.
talking about again?
Maybe the middle class group, you can say, maybe somebody who's earning, let's say, 15-20 lakhs or something like that, they are paying
Okay, so
30%
is your
tax.
argument in a nutshell that the middle class, if it pays a lot of taxes, becomes poorer and it affects their living standards?
When they are living in
Uh,
India. Yeah.
so I'm saying that like we have tax brackets, right? If the rich are paying more taxes, it might come to be that the middle class won't have to pay as much tax.
um the but the middle class which is paying these taxes, uh,
Hmm.
they aren't getting anything in return from their country. So when you compare it
Why do
with
you say
European
that?
countries,
Would you say that the civil amenities available to everyone, but the middle class is being kept away from it?
no.
The police is available to the middle class, roads are available to the middle class, everything that our tax money pays for is available to the middle class. What is being taken from them?
No, the situation uh, of
What
health
situation?
and let's say government schools is not good
Hmm?
in the country for the government
No, I'm
hospitals.
saying you are saying that the middle class pays taxes but does not get anything in return for them. What are
Yeah.
you saying is not available to them?
So so I mean, let's just compare with European countries, right? So because you brought it like one of the arguments, so European countries, they pay a lot of taxes. Let's say they
Hmm.
also pay 30 to 40% taxes, but they
The
can
rich in
send
European countries or the
even the
middle class in European
middle
countries?
class or
Okay.
rich also. Okay,
Okay.
so they can send their kid to public schools.
Hmm.
The health, they get good health insurance, so which is pretty much free for them.
Hmm.
Those are the benefits I'm talking about, which Indians middle class don't get, and that's one of the
I think
reasons,
you
right? You
started
would
off by saying that you agree that health and uh, healthcare
health and
and
education.
education should be
Yeah, yeah,
free, right?
yeah,
So if
yeah,
that does happen, then it's free for everyone, right? And the
yeah.
middle class does get it.
Yes, but the so let's look at this way. So you have certain pool of money. Let's say
Hmm.
everybody's
Hmm.
paying these taxes, right? Let's say
Hmm.
we have 100 rupees. Simple assumption, right?
Okay.
Many of it is going into paying various. I'm assuming this, okay, and I may be wrong here, but what I'm assuming is that a lot of money is going into paying off, let's say, either these not so useful subsidies, like paying somebody's electricity bill and xyz and all. And
Hmm.
what happens, and let's say a lot of money goes into subsidizing or making these government schemes. uh, I mean, and there is very little money which is then left for health and education, and the health and education situation is apathetic in the country. And that's why some of the middle
अभिषेक,
class.
सॉरी अभिषेक बोल रहा हूँ, आशीष।
Ashish, yeah,
सॉरी यहाँ मतलब क्यू में दो अभिषेक है, so I kind of, you got to be a minority there, someone took over your name, so
yeah,
sorry about that. My point is, I still don't have the answer to the thing that you raised earlier, where you said that the taxes that the middle class is paying, it is not getting anything in return for it.
yeah. So I'm coming to that. So
I thought you were
okay,
coming to
okay,
that when
okay.
you mentioned Europe, but you didn't get there.
No, no,
So
no.
I'm
Okay,
kind of
okay.
trying to
No,
hurry
no.
you up. Yeah, go on.
Sure. So the taxes which middle class pay, let's say a road is constructed, right? So your
Hmm.
point was that, hey, road is constructed or police is there.
Hmm.
Police situation is also pathetic, as we know, but
Hmm.
keep it aside. So a road is constructed, let's say, yes, everybody uses it, no
Yeah.
problem in that. That's great. Okay, you are using money to build the infrastructure of the country, right?
Hmm.
So what I'm saying, Vimo, is that a, a certain amount of money is there. uh, they get some facilities, middle class, they get infrastructure which everybody uses, right?
Hmm.
But the point I'm coming towards is that there is almost little or no money is left to give good health and education to people, based on the taxes being paid, right? So that's why many of the people opt to move to other countries, European countries, for example, where they pay similar taxes, but they
Hmm.
get good health and education for their children.
So my question is, my point is this, in response to what you just said. First of all, if you agree that healthcare and education should be free for everyone, and that does become a reality, then it does become free for middle class, poor, rich, everyone, right?
Yeah, yeah,
In that case, this problem is gone.
yeah.
Secondly, the fact that a middle class person has the option of moving abroad itself shows how different the actual living conditions are for them, between them and the people who can't afford it. The middle
Right.
class pays taxes. The poor are unable to pay taxes. The middle class paying taxes gets them stuff that everyone gets anyway, right? The
So
poor,
I would like to disagree on that. That there are some people, Vimo. Now I'll talk about a different problem. You might say that I'm diverging, but there are a lot of people in the country who don't pay income taxes, right?
yeah,
Even
but
though they can
everyone still pays
afford, they
taxes,
can.
right? Everyone still pays
Everyone still
taxes.
pays taxes. That I agree with you,
Hmm.
but there are a lot of people who using the loopholes in the system, like the salaried, they have no option. But
Hmm.
there are a lot of other people on the businesses and XYZ who should
Hmm.
pay a lot of income taxes. They are not paying them.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree. They
Yeah.
should.
Yeah.
They should pay more. In fact, they're paying less.
Yeah.
So the source of the problems of the people, of the middle class people, is not the poor, are they? It's the rich.
I know it's not the poor. Yes, it's the
You just
rich.
told me.
It's one of the rich. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So I'm not
So
saying the poor are a problem. I never said that, Vimo.
no, no. You said that subsidy culture should go away, right? The subsidy culture
The
exists
subs
for the poor.
right.
Why are you?
So
Why are you? Why are you? Why are
so
you
so
opposing a
so when I
system?
said
Listen,
so when I
listen,
said
listen,
yeah.
listen. Why are you opposing a system that exists to benefit the poor when the source of your problem are not the poor and are in fact the rich?
Okay. So the subsidy culture is an ever expanding thing which the politicians and the governments use to
Mhm.
attract votes from people, the poor.
That's
They
true.
want to
True.
keep
No,
the
actually,
poor.
also the middle class. If you look
Yeah.
at the subsidy culture, the reason we are talking about subsidy culture right now is because it's in the news, right? Political parties are offering free
No, it's
electricity and all.
it's 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 not just because that right now it's news I'm talking about it, but I always oppose this kind of a culture, right?
No,
So
I'm saying you don't have a good reason to oppose it because the source of the problems that you listed just now are not those who are benefiting from the subsidies. It is the rich. You are complaining about something that is a problem for the middle class.
right.
You're laying blame on the people who are not the problem, and you are not talking as much as you should about the people who are the problem. That's my point.
Okay. So let's think of a system, right?
Ashish, Ashish, let's
Yeah.
make this your last point. Huh? There are three people waiting.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Hmm.
So simply a system, right, where
Hmm.
let's assume we say this. So we know that the government is using the poor to give them free subsidies, get votes from them, and XYZ and all that, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So let's assume that the poor say that we don't want subsidy right now, but
Hmm.
we want you we don't want us let's say you have pool of money 100 rupees or whatever. We
Hmm.
don't want you to give us free electricity. What I
Hmm.
want you to do is, let's say, make better health and education for everybody, right?
Hmm.
So uh, that's a better usage of that money. And what happens is with that is, it let's say education improves, then you have a guy like from a poor background or some background, right? He also rises up in the society. He also
Hmm.
starts making good amount of money. He also starts paying
Do you
taxes,
think
right?
that lack of subsidies might hinder that?
No, I don't think
You
so.
don't think lack of subsidies will hinder the process of a poor person rising up in society? If
uh,
someone does not have enough to eat or to educate themselves or to go to the hospital, which they might if
no,
there were
no, i
subsidies,
i already
do you think
excluded I already excluded the health and education part from it, at the
do you
start.
think
and
okay, so you're saying ki health and
and
education should be free for the poor.
and I would say one more thing include in that.
Listen,
So
Ashish, listen, help
yeah,
me understand what you're saying.
yeah,
You're
yeah.
moving, you're jumping over to the next point before I've gotten what you've said right now. You're saying that suppose there is this hypothetical poor person, health and education is already free for them.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so what are they saying? Don't give me. What are they saying? Ki I don't need a subsidy on.
Assume they say that I don't need your free electricity, for example, right? I would pay for my electricity, right?
Hmm.
I would pay for my water bill. Health and
Hmm.
education is free for me. My kid, who is, let's say, working, who is studying right now, he
Hmm.
will, because he has free education, he would have equal opportunity to rise up. And he works hard, he will get there
Ashish,
eventually.
what
Yeah.
happens in case they can't afford electricity?
Yeah, there are some percentage of people, Vimo. It's true for them. Uh,
Do you think it is true for more people or fewer people? Do you think more people, like if there are like 100 poor people, do you think more than 50% can't afford electricity? Or like what is the breakdown here? Do you think most people in India who fall in the poor category will be able to afford electricity?
uh, Yeah, I think they won't be able to afford. Yeah.
You think they won't be able to?
Yeah.
Do you think they need free electricity or subsidized electricity?
So yes, but
Yeah,
what I'm trying to say
that's my
over
point.
here, yeah,
That's all. We agree with each other.
yeah,
I think that people who think that they can pay for electricity can pay for electricity, but we should not come to the conclusion that it is easy for everyone, because it
right.
is possible for healthcare and education to be free and still for someone to be so
But
poor that they cannot afford electricity, which, by the way, also gets in the way of education. If
right,
someone does not have
yeah,
electricity, they can't have access to electronic devices or resources to teach themselves, or lights in the evening,
I
right?
agree with you on that.
So these things are
So
connected.
yes, so my point over there, Vimo, is that shouldn't the government focus more on getting the rich to pay more taxes who evade these
Yes,
taxes?
yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes, yes.
So
My point
yes,
is this: you agree with this very important part, right? The government should focus on getting the rich to pay more taxes.
yeah.
But every single thing that you have suggested so far that should be done, you have told the poor to do it.
No, I have
We
not
need
said
to
that poor
hold the
to do it.
powerful
Yeah,
and the rich more
right.
accountable,
Yeah,
and the poor, who in any case are probably not even able to, like, these are two really privileged people talking. By the way, I am sitting in my home with a high speed internet connection, doing a live stream, and you are sitting somewhere able to communicate with me because a, you are good with language, b, you have a connection, c, you are educated, right? So if we have the power to say something and hold someone accountable, should we not hold those with more power accountable instead of telling the poor what they should do and how they should behave?
yeah, I agree with you on that. The rich should be
Yep.
held more accountable. Yeah,
That's great. That's something we both agree on. Anyway, thank you, Ashish, for coming. I should move on to the next caller probably.
sure. Yeah,
Thanks. Bye bye. Good call.
bye. Yeah.
Bye.